"Beat me in chess and I'll marry you," said the CEO. The single dad's reply shocked her. Ethan Cole never imagined his life would turn out this way. Once a rising star in finance, he now spent his evenings bussing tables at a downtown cafe while raising his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, on his own. His wife had passed away years ago, and since then, Ethan's world revolved entirely around his little girl. He didn't dream of riches or success anymore. His only goal was to give Lily a stable, happy life, no matter how much he had to sacrifice along the way. One rainy Friday evening, Ethan found himself sitting in a local park under the dim glow of street lamps, playing chess with Lily. It was their little tradition after dinner, a way to unwind and escape their troubles. But that night, they weren't alone. A sleek black car pulled up nearby, and out stepped none other than Victoria Hale, the CEO of Hale Industries, one of the biggest companies in the city. Known for her brilliance in business but infamous for being cold and unapproachable, Victoria was the last person Ethan expected to see in a quiet park. She paused when she saw them, curiosity flickering in her sharp blue eyes. "Mind if I join?" she asked, surprising both father and daughter. Ethan nodded, unsure why a billionaire CEO wanted to play chess with a stranger. As they set up the board, Victoria leaned forward, her tone half joking, half serious. "Beat me in chess," she said, a faint challenge in her voice, "and I'll marry you." Ethan froze. Was this some kind of game to her? He glanced at Lily, who stared wide-eyed, waiting for her dad's response. Finally, Ethan smiled softly and replied, "I'm not here to win your hand in marriage. But I'll play, only if you promise something better than that." Victoria tilted her head, intrigued. "Better than marriage?" "Promise me," Ethan said, his voice steady, "that if I win, you'll sponsor a community program for kids who can't afford education or after-school activities. Kids like my daughter deserve a chance." The CEO blinked, taken aback. No one had ever countered her bold challenges this way. "And if you lose?" she asked. Ethan chuckled lightly. "Then I'll offer you something priceless, a friend. Because from what I hear, you don't have many of those." Victoria's lips parted, but no words came out. For the first time in years, someone wasn't intimidated by her money or her power. They were simply kind. The game began. It wasn't just chess, it was two worlds colliding. Victoria, used to ruthless competition, played fiercely, determined to win. Ethan, calm and patient, played for something far greater than himself. Move after move, the game grew tense, drawing the attention of passers-by who gathered quietly around the park bench, captivated by the unlikely duel. As the final moments approached, Victoria saw it, a trap she hadn't expected. With one last decisive move, Ethan said softly, "Checkmate." A hush fell over the crowd. Victoria stared at the board, stunned. She wasn't upset about losing, she was shaken by what it meant. This man hadn't wanted her fortune or her hand. He wanted to change lives. True to her word, Victoria extended her hand and said, "You've got your deal, Ethan. Tomorrow, we start drafting plans for that program." But as she turned to leave, she glanced at Lily, who was beaming up at her father. Something inside Victoria shifted. She hadn't felt warmth like this in years, not in her towering office, not at glamorous parties, not surrounded by people who only saw her as a powerful CEO. A week later, the city buzzed with news. Hale Industries launched a free after-school program, providing tutoring, meals, and mentorship to underprivileged kids. Ethan never asked for recognition, but word spread of the humble single dad who inspired the change. One evening, Victoria returned to the park, this time without her entourage. She sat across from Ethan again, setting up the chessboard. "I don't need you to marry me," she said softly, a rare vulnerability in her tone. "But I do need a friend, maybe two." She glanced at Lily, who giggled and nodded eagerly. Ethan smiled warmly. "I think we can make that happen." From that night on, the three of them often met under the street lamps, laughing, playing, and healing parts of themselves they didn't even know were broken. Sometimes, victory isn't about winning a game or gaining a prize. Sometimes, it's about opening someone's heart, showing them kindness, and proving that humanity still exists in a world obsessed with power and wealth. And for Ethan and Victoria, a single chess match didn't just change their lives, it sparked a ripple of compassion that would touch countless others for years to come.